Yo, so in this video we're going to look at how to use the infinite drum rack. The whole purpose of creating this really is to save yourself from having to drag in individual drum hits and samples into the drum rack. It can be really annoying. Ableton Live's drum rack is really dope. There's also a lot of cool like presets in here of drum racks that you can use, or obviously load a blank one, drag all those samples in here like I was mentioning in your drums folder, but that could be really daunting and kind of annoying. So one thing I like to do is have the infinite drum rack, which I keep all of my cymbals and noises and percussions, toms, shakers, kicks, you can see in here, in these chains. So rather than having to load in, say, multiple kicks or multiple cymbals into different cells, I like to keep all of them in one cell, and I can easily just play back those here. So let's just kind of show an example. I'm going to create like a basic quick beat. Cool. So now if we go back to this view, we've got all these different chains, and if you haven't checked out the video on how to use a drum rack, you're not familiar with drum racks or the racks in this course, definitely watch those videos. This will make a lot more sense. But basically what I did is I created all these different chains, and then inside of this sampler instrument that we're looking at, I open up the zones, and so I have all my claps that I loaded in from my user library. I basically just made a giant folder of all the claps and drum sounds that I wanted, and then I just dragged all those. So like, for example, all these toms. I could just take all these toms. I can go into the toms section. Let's go into the toms chain. And I just basically dragged a bunch of those in here. Boom. And then what I did is I actually separated, so I'm just going to do that. But basically what I did is I separated them by the selector. So now each one is broken out by selection. So this little knob right here, you can see as I scroll it around and move it, whatever it's hovering over one of these selected bars for each of these chains, it's only going to play that sample. So if it's mid-low tom session right now is what it's set over. Now, it's going to play that. If I move this knob, it's going to play something different. So it's a different tom. You kind of get the idea. Also, if you think any of these drum hits sound like absolute crap, it's not going to hurt my feelings. You can replace them for your own. So you could basically just delete them from the zone here. So I'm in my kicks. Be like, I don't like that sound. So I'll hit delete. And then I can just search for, say, like a new kick drum or whatever. I like that. Great. So then I'll drag that in here. Notice the chain selector is super long, so you can just right click on that and choose distribute ranges equally. Boom. And then now it just shortened it to its section within these different zones. And if I take a little chain selector and hover over it and I play that kick, now it's that new kick we dragged in. So yeah, you can modify this infinite drum rack, add your own samples that you like, delete samples, or I'm sorry, zones you don't like, and then hit save and save it and replace the infinite drum rack here. Yeah, so now it's just a faster way. I can play on my push, or I could play on my keyboard and just trigger different sounds using the same MIDI notes in here. A lot of times when I'm producing, I'll program a beat, and then I can really kind of scroll through the sound that I want to dial it in based off of the track I'm producing or the vibe or the feel with the other instruments to make it work. So let's try a different kick. Let's go to kick. Kind of like that. And now another cool thing is we've got other options in here. So in some of these chains, I macro mapped like the reverse feature inside of here. So like you can map multiple things too in here if you wanted to get a lot more like weird with it. Say if you wanted to throw a filter on like the hi-hat or something, I'll just turn on this filter. Let's go into the hi-hats. So you can hear it's a lot more warmed up, and then I can map this to a certain macro if I wanted. So I'll right click on the frequency. I'm going to set that to macro 5. So now you can see it's affecting this macro. So that's a really cool way to map your own effects. If you wanted to go deeper into this rack and really customize it to your own, you can do that. So let's just kind of hear what that sounds like. So did you hear that like little hit right there on these hi-hats? I'm going to automate that for the hi-hats. So if I hit record, I can, let's say we're just recording like this clip or something. Let's move over here into arrangement view, because that's where most of our time is spent. Good times in arrangement view. Yeah, so alright, I'm gonna loop this, and then I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna turn on this automation arm button, hit record, and then now you can have a lot of fun messing around with stuff. There's also a cool reverse feature in here too. Let's actually give that a listen. Actually, it was so slow it could barely pick it up. Let me try it here. So those notes are so fast it can't keep up with the reverse feature. So let's try this. Yeah, so you can hear it kind of reversing that. Maybe open up that filter a little bit. Yeah, so you can hear the brightness of that hi-hat now. Yeah, you can kind of get an idea. Also, transpose knob is really helpful. I always tune the key of my drums. So like, say your kick is like in the key of D or whatever, transpose the kick to... And that could be fun to automate, like I was saying. So let's just automate that real fast. Got distracted. Let's go back to that and give that a try. Hit the record button, got my automation on, and now you can do kind of weird stuff with let's mess with the hi-hat transpose. It's a good time. So yeah, playing with that transpose, you can get that hi-hat weirdness. It's like shifting the pitch as it goes. It's kind of fun. You can see that knob's moving now. So yeah, it's just like a fun production trick. You can reverse, play with the transpose, create your own custom mappings and move that around for some automation weirdness. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, each one of these has a sample selector, so you can scroll through all the different sounds in the chain for the drum rack. Shout out to Il Gates, actually. He was one of the pioneers of this technique of the infinite drum rack, so I just kind of made my own spin off of his. Super fun times. Hope you enjoy, and yeah, have fun.